But I think he.
When does he put his toe back in the water?
I don't think ever. I think it's like an Axl Rose thing. I think he'll make something and it'll take forever and it'll come out and then he'll blame the marketing company or he'll blame the record. Like it'll never quite fucking.
I understand the analogy, but I don't think it's fair to Dave. I'll take Dave's side, and I know what you're trying to say, but Dave was Guns N' Roses. Dave wasn't like a guy in Guns N' Roses.
Right.
Dave was the guy that went, I'm out of here. And Axl Rose turns out is a petulant fucking child.
Right.
When was the first call? Did Dave call you directly and say, I don't feel like doing this anymore?
No.
Or did you hear it through 50 different channels?
No, I was on set when I heard he was in Africa.
You were on set
waiting
shooting?
for him to show up.
What sketch? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it ended up not airing. But
so, first of all, I don't even know how
it was a fucking hilarious sketch, by the way. It was about he played a guy. It was not partially based on Walter, buddy of yours, but like where he just kept. It was this guy who's
buddy of mine. So
yeah,
thank you.
It was about a guy who just would rap no matter where you went. He was just one of these like I'm like trying to get signed and just fucking rap, and it's like, dude, fucking take it easy with the rap. And he's like, take it easy, sleazy, dreazy, like just fucking the most annoying dude. You go to a club, he starts spraying champagne on everybody. It's like, dude, fucking stop. It was a really funny sketch. So I was on set, and he was in Africa.
How do you get to Africa? You just go to the airport like in the old days and go, one ticket to Africa, please.
I think he just called. There's fucking flights every day.
And why Africa? Why not DC?
I think he wanted to make him get really remote. I think he wanted to get far away.
I think that's what Delaware was for.
Folks, you need to incorporate.
You get the call or you find out that he's in Africa, and do you know at that do you just think he's like, is he just high?
Look, man, our relationship had been pretty charred from basically negotiating with Comedy Central. Basically, I knew Comedy Central was going to play Divide and Conquer.
Right.
And so
you needed him to go, no,
yeah, I needed him to not,
this guy.
yeah. And the more popular the show became, the less interested in that he became. The less kind of like, he may have resented the fact that we did it together. I don't know. But so once that became a thing, then Comedy Central would call when his deal was closed, and then Comedy Central would call Dave and go, Neal said you can't do the show without him. So then he'd be like, fuck Neal. You know what I mean? And then, so it's like, at that point, I ended up getting a decent deal.
But not representative of the popularity of the show.
Well, not representative of popularity, and also not representative of my contribution.
Of a two-pronged attack.
Yes. And, but that's the other thing. It's like, I think he would blanch at even the idea of it being a two-man operation. Because...
Man, the shit wasn't called the Neal Show, man.
Yeah, exactly. But also just like, who thought of what sketch, and like, we have different recollections. So...
why did he not do a third season?
Because, I don't know, man. He fucking went to Africa.
Was he... It seems... You said something super interesting to me that I've kind of obsessed on, and that's that super heavy crown of, like, leading black comic. And it seems
it's like, not it takes, like, fucking 60% of the fun out of it. We actually did a sketch. We wrote a sketch about it, like, you're the new spokesman for Black America. And it was going to be on a porch, Spike Lee, Chris, and Dave. Chris Rock. And it was, Spike was going to go like, I gave it to Chris. Eddie gave it to me. I think we were going to try to get Eddie, too. Eddie gave it to me. I gave it to Chris. Like, I remember when we did a sketch where Dave said something about not vote. Like, how can black people get ahead? It was on I Know Black People. And someone goes, someone answered, by voting. And he goes, that is incorrect. On CNN, like the fucking next day, they go, Dave Chappelle says black people shouldn't vote. It's like, motherfucker, stop. I'm not a fucking news source. I'm not a spokesperson. I'm one guy saying black people should. I'm not even saying black people shouldn't vote. I'm saying it's funny that black people think that they can get ahead by voting. It's also funny to say that's incorrect. It's funny to be that cynical. but then you become a fucking source for.
Wasn't that in a sketch though?
Yeah, but
Right.
but
so
still,
they're quoting a sketch as his actual
as an actual opinion. Yeah, it's like it just becomes
and this
like
must
boy,
have made him super crazy. Obviously,
yeah, it just makes
but
you like.
What is it about
shut
black?
up.
What is it about the reigning black comic? It seems that 80% of them wind up going batshit fucking crazy.
I think what I'm talking about has a lot to do with it, and I think that if you generally I don't. I think like smoking weed or whatever. I don't think that has much to do with it. I think being Eddie Murphy said something, and I completely forgot about this. And I saw Chappelle a couple weeks ago. We did shows together in Oakland, and they were great. And Dave reminded me of something. We were at Eddie Murphy's house one night, and it was me, Chappelle, Eddie, and Mooney. Which already I wanted to fucking record the whole thing. Like, this is the best. We get there at fucking 10. We leave at 5 in the morning. Just talking. And whenever I'm around Eddie, I just grill him. Because I'm like, I'm such a big fan. I'm not going to pretend I'm not. So I just ask him questions. We're watching TV. Eddie basically just watches TV all day. That's what he does. Plays acoustic guitar. Yeah, and watches TV. So the Al Jolson story is on. Literally, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, no, what a perfect fucking thing to be on. And Eddie's looking at it. He's standing next to his fucking giant television in his palace. And he goes, every race of people goes through some shit in America. He goes, but this being black shit is like the Twilight Zone. Which is like, boy, that's pretty succinct. And it gives you an idea of like, you go from being completely marginalized in America in your whole life to like, you're okay. It's the fucking Mr. Black. It's the Mr. White sketch from SNL. Like, silly Negro, those rules don't apply to you. And I think you resent it. I think you go like, you motherfuckers, what about all of my cousins and people that are, the only difference is you'll tolerate my skin color
because I do a Teddy Pendergrass impression.
Yeah, because I have this weird talent, but otherwise you would completely marginalize me and I'd be invisible to you. So I think that's my access to it, my proximity to it at this level of dude. I think that's part of it is like feeling like, man, if it weren't for this talent, white people would treat me like an absolute piece of garbage. And now, having said that, as a white person, I get treated better for having talent too. Right. But I think the jump is the ratio of course, anonymous to famous for white to black is a way bigger difference. And I think it makes you. I always said if I was black, I'd fucking be in jail probably because I would think too angry.
Well, you know how I behaved if I was black.
Oh, forget it. You would have been locked up. Just for what we know about on the show.
That's right.
Going to a fake doctor, tasing people, and pushing niggas into garbage.
Does Dave have enough money to last him the rest of his life? Was it that kind of money at Comedy Central? That fucking mailbox?
Even if he doesn't, he's got enough fame to last him a weekend in Vegas to fucking to score a bunch of money. Like he can announce a show now for tonight in a 1,000-seat theater, pretty much anywhere in the country, get the entire door. And so that's on a Wednesday.
So you're painting a picture of a guy that really stuck to, first of all, you and I, no one in this room has any idea what it's like to be black, and just the cacophony of nonsense that comes your way once you're a successful black performer compared to the cacophony of like, when you're a non-successful black person. So like that, what I'm getting from you is you being so close and so as close as a white guy is to an inside black circle, you've seen firsthand being black is a complete mindfuck.
Yeah, it's like I describe slavery to somebody as like, it's like having alcoholic parents times 50. And you just know from being around, you see white people with alcoholic parents, and that's, I think when people go, why do you and black people get along so well? I was like, because my dad's an alcoholic. And I know what it's like to kind of not give a fuck and be resentful and
tap dance for the attaboy and then hate the fact that you danced
for the fact that you needed it in the first place and fucking like, oh, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
So
why do I need him at my Little League games?
Yeah. So I think that's part of it, but yeah, it is a mind fuck. And then once you get into that stratosphere, it's pressure and weird shit, and I think you resent it that they'll do it today, but they won't do it to Bill Maher, and they'll, you know what I mean? Like,
could it be as simple as the show was so successful, the sketches were airtight, and they were airtight.
Yeah, they were great.
I mean, oh, good.
Yeah. No, I've only watched the show.
Because you are a guy that'll sell yourself short.
No. Chappelle Show's one of these things is like, I know. Like, I've watched, sometimes I'll show Rick James to girls just if I need to close it. And
Kung Fu Panda
if I need to close the deal. Exactly. And then, but I watched the show on mute one time, and I was watching an episode on mute, and I was like, oh, this is fucking, I could just tell by the editing. I was like, this is fucking good.
Could it be as simple as Dave didn't fucking feel like it anymore?
Yeah, dude. I think that's part of it. I think it's trying to live up to it. And I think it's
not
a lot
even
of
live
shit.
up to it. Like, we were in a band. We put out 3 records. You know, we did Exile on Main Street, Sticky Fingers, and Beggar's Banquet. I'm good.
Right.
I just don't feel, like, he's just not
that that's part of it. That's absolutely part of it.
But is it, and that is the insatiable need for information on the topic, is because the people listening are like, how could you be done with show business?
Oh, right.
How can you be done with getting a $1 million extra as opposed to 50 or whatever it was? I believe 50 is the actual number. A lot of this is
Rash. Yeah, it was a shitload of money. So, a lot of this is Rashomon. A lot of it is like, I think one thing, he thinks another.
Rashomon being
a Japanese picture where it's about some sort of rape in a village, and then the movie is about 5 different people's perception about said rape, and it's about 20. Each person's segment's about 20 minutes. And you go, it's like a fucking great idea for a movie.
Right.
If only it were
They
in
did
English.
it with a Forrest Whitaker movie.
Is that true?
Everybody, it was like an assassination attempt, and it was everybody's.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Forrest Whitaker was in that movie. Ghost Dog.
I love Ghost Dog. So you'll never know. No one will ever know.
Would you say leading the league in possibilities, the leaderboard, making that, the 18th hole walk up the fairway, is the leaderboard just didn't fucking feel like it anymore? Or is it an amalgamation of so many different things?
It's so many things. That's the thing. It's like, it's so many things.
I can't wrap my mind around what things would have me turn my back on that, going by you telling me that the network was actually kind of cool. If a network's going like, fucking do it like this, these are your new writers.
Yeah, no.
It's a change of the guard around here, my way or the high. Then you go, you know what, take your money and shove it up your ass.
The only new writers were Brian Tucker, who I wanted to hire from the beginning.
He killed like 14 shows.
Brian Tucker, who pitched the racial draft, like he's fucking. I got him a job at SNL.
I'm kidding about
6 years.
Person.
Like he's a great writer.
Yes.
And Keith Robinson. Those were our 2 new writers. So, and that was just Dave wanted Keith because.
What do you mean you're walking away? Goddammit! I just got hired. Goddammit!
No, Keith did a joke about black dudes being bad. They wouldn't be good on those videos, those Al Qaeda videos, because they'd be like, "Nigga, cut my head off."
They're just talking shit on the way out.
Exactly. So like that. So Dave wanted him just for that joke. So it's not like there was no fucking like they weren't making us do anything. It was just.
So then it's not Rashomon.
Yes, it is, because if Dave was here, he would say something completely different.
And then everyone else is saying, what? But
yeah,
I understand what you're saying.
The only 2 people who know what happened are me and Dave, and we have a massive disagreement about it.
Oh.
So.
But what has Dave told you as to why?
Nothing. A lot of it's just personal shit that I wouldn't tell people in public.
But Dave's never given you the phone call and go, let me tell you where my head was at.
Yeah, no, he has, but I just disagree with what he said. Like we have a different take on what I would consider facts. We just have a different take on it.
But again, and I'm doing for the viewer, relentless.
Yeah.
What facts make $50 million not worth showing up to film a sketch comedy show? To you. Any?
Oh yeah, there's a scenario. There are like possibilities in the world that make not doing a show.
Like, we have your wife.
None
and kids.
of them happened to Chappelle Show, as far as I can say.
Right.
But yeah, it's just like, yeah. Here's the thing. What I know about Chappelle Show and what I know about me and Dave's relationship and what I know about